It was a normal Friday morning when I found my driveway empty. My black Ford Explorer, my personal vehicle, was gone. At first, I thought maybe my wife had borrowed it, but when I called her, she was just as surprised as me. Then I noticed a bright orange sticker slapped on the side of my mailbox. Violation. Vehicle improperly parked. Fine. $79. Towed to impound lot. I stood there in disbelief. My truck hadn't been on HOA property. It was parked on MY driveway, on MY land. Grandpa, who was sipping his morning coffee on the porch, let out a dry chuckle. They finally lost it, son. They've been itching for a fight, and they just picked the wrong truck. Wrong truck, indeed. Because while the HOA president, Karen, probably thought she was teaching me a lesson in compliance, she didn't realize one very important detail. I'm the chief of police for the county, and the vehicle she had towed? It wasn't just my truck. It was fitted with specialized equipment, including secure communications gear. That meant Karen had just crossed from an HOA dispute into a potential federal offense. I didn't waste time. I drove my spare car down to the impound lot listed on the sticker. Sure enough, there was my Explorer, parked behind a chain-link fence. When I walked in, the clerk at the desk looked nervous. "Sir, are you here to pay the fine?" he asked. "Actually," I said, flashing my badge, "I'm here to collect evidence in a criminal investigation." The man's eyes widened. "Criminal, sir? I just got a call from the HOA president this morning. She insisted we tow the truck. She said it was blocking community access." "My driveway doesn't count as community access," I replied, my tone sharp. "And you towed a law enforcement vehicle without verifying ownership. That makes this serious." I photographed everything, the paperwork, the tow order, the impound logs. Then I called in 2 of my deputies to process the scene. The impound clerk looked like he wanted to melt into the floor. By noon, I had everything I needed. That's when I drove straight to the HOA office. Karen was inside, lecturing a group of homeowners about upholding standards when I walked in. The room went silent as I set the stack of documents on the table. "Karen," I said, my voice calm but firm, "we need to talk." She gave me a smug smile. "Oh, Chief, I see you got the notice. Rules are rules. You can't just park however you like." I leaned in slightly. "Karen, that vehicle you had towed? It's a police unit. You interfered with department equipment. That's tampering with government property." Her smugness faltered. That can't be right. It was just your personal truck." "Wrong again," I said, pulling out my ID and the documentation for the vehicle. "You didn't just break HOA rules, you broke the law." The homeowners around the table were whispering, some already pulling out their phones to record. Karen's face drained of color. I didn't know. You thought you could throw your weight around." I interrupted. "Instead, you authorized an illegal tow. That puts you, and this HOA, on the hook for fines, restitution, and possibly criminal charges." She tried to backpedal, stammering excuses, but I'd had enough. I turned to the crowd. "Ladies and gentlemen, I've given this HOA plenty of chances to operate within the law, but this is a clear abuse of power. Effective immediately, there will be an investigation into HOA misconduct." The room erupted. Some homeowners cheered, others demanded answers from Karen, who sat frozen in her chair. By the time I left, Karen's phone was buzzing nonstop. Calls from lawyers, from other board members, even from the impound lot begging to cooperate. My truck was released immediately, all fees waived, and the impound company offered a formal apology. As for Karen, the investigation revealed this wasn't her first stunt. She had been authorizing tows illegally for months, pocketing administrative fees on the side. Within weeks, she was removed as president and faced charges for fraud and misuse of authority. When I finally parked my Explorer back in my driveway, Grandpa clapped me on the shoulder. "Well, son, I reckon that $79 fine just cost her everything." I smiled. Lesson learned. Don't mess with a cop's truck, especially when the cop runs the department.